It was a busy election night on Super Tuesday. That was due in part to some technical issues that delayed results. What election officials are saying about those issues this noon.
And I went in there, and that house looked like somebody had been massacred in that house.
That woman made a bloody discovery inside her neighbor's home. Police say it was the result of a fight involving a machete.
And coronavirus concerns continue in San Antonio, and health officials maintain your risk of exposure is low. But if you want to take precautions, our Sarah Costa tells what advice doctors have.
And it's windy out there after this morning's storms. Winds are gusting up to 30 miles per hour. I'll be back with a recap of how much rain the Alamo City and surrounding areas saw this morning.
Live from KSAT12, the news at noon starts right now.
Bexar County elections officials are blaming technology for a list of issues that delayed the reporting of the results into the early morning hours.
Dylan Collier is live at election headquarters where officials discussed what went right and what went wrong. Dylan?
David and Ursula Elections Administrator Jackie Callanan called it a superb night until it was time to release the results, and that is when the frustration set in. The system for those results crashed 3 different times last night. Callanan says they still aren't sure what caused that crash, and they are working on it. She did want to be very clear during a press conference this morning. The integrity of the vote from last night is not in question.
And the hamster wheel went slow and slow and slow and slow and slower, and then it stopped. Didn't give us any results.
And those results were finally tabulated just before 4 a.m. when Callanan and other election officials finally left for the night or for the early morning. She did want to point out, though, that voter turnout, even though the percentage was lower than past elections yesterday, it did set a primary record for the number of sheer voters, the number of people who went out and actually cast a ballot for a primary in Bexar County history. Reporting live downtown, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Dylan. Super Tuesday, big wins for former Vice President Joe Biden, coming out of the day with the most delegates. On the Republican side, President Trump won the most delegates there. And at least 5 races are now heading into a runoff, including a race for U.S. Senate and the race for Bexar County Precinct 2 Constable as well. You can take a look at all the latest results right now on KSAT.com. That includes local and state elections. The runoff election is scheduled for May 26th. And coming up in the next half hour, we have the major fallout from last night's big loser. Michael Bloomberg has dropped out of the race for president. We're going to have more details on his decision and the latest coming out from the campaign trail.
Across the globe, cases of the coronavirus have now surpassed 94,000, and the death toll now past 3,200. The U.S. Navy self-quarantining ships in the 6th Fleet because of coronavirus. 2 Navy officials say ships will stay at sea for at least 14 days after visiting any port in Europe. In Seattle, retail giant Amazon confirmed one of its employees tested positive with coronavirus. A spokesperson says that employee is now in quarantine. And just yesterday, more than 120 evacuees from the Diamond Princess cruise ship were released from quarantine at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland. The evacuees were American citizens who were symptom-free for 14 days.
And an interesting story coming out of that release, the Associated Press reporting that federal health officials had planned to drop off some of those cruise ship passengers at North Star Mall after they were released from quarantine yesterday. According to the AP, they spoke to one of the cruise ship passengers who listened to a conference call from the CDC. That passenger says only people who were not going to the airport were supposed to be dropped off at the mall near the Cheesecake Factory, but that didn't end up happening. North Star Mall told the Associated Press they were not aware of this plan. You can read more about it on our website.
And here in the U.S., there are more than 100 cases of coronavirus, at least 15 states now affected, and that includes Texas.
And with this disease spreading across the globe, there has been a spread of false information and fear across communities. It's why the city of San Antonio and the Alamo Asian American Chamber of Commerce held an educational panel this morning.
Sarah Costa tells us what you should know about the coronavirus.
The point of today's panel, to educate. There is still a lot of research that needs to be done in regards of the coronavirus, but the doctors on today's panel say there are some things you can do to help prevent from getting coronavirus. Dr. Han Fo was one of the panelists. He is an internist physician at Methodist Hospital. He says 3 things that you can do to best protect yourself include avoid sick people and mass gatherings. Number 2, don't touch your face. Your face includes your mucous membranes, your nose, mouth, and eyes. If the virus gets into them, that's how it gets into your respiratory system. And number 3, maintain your health with nutrition and exercise. Dr. Fo says vitamins and minerals are very important to improve your immunity.
I think the most important thing there is probably not introducing the virus into your body, which is not touching your face. Where the thin mucous membranes, that's where the virus penetrates.
When Dr. Fo was asked about the panic that some areas are experiencing, he says it's not time to panic, but it is important to take necessary precautions.
I think we need to take this seriously. It's very new, it's very novel. We don't know everything about it yet.
In addition to today's panel, Metro Health has opened up a coronavirus hotline for Bexar County residents. You can call that number anytime during the week between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. at 207-5779. And of course, you can find all this information right now on KSAT.com. From the Medical Center, I'm Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
Also right now on KSAT.com, everything you need to know about the coronavirus, including where it is spreading and reminders about what you can do to ward off any virus.
2 Northeast Side men who were roommates are now occupying very different spaces. One is in the hospital, and San Antonio police say they're trying to track down the other for attacking him with a machete. Katrina Weber spoke to a neighbor who says she found the victim in a blood-soaked home.
This was senseless. Okay.
Tana Hodges is still trying to get her mind around what happened in this home late last night in the 100 block of Ashland Drive. At the same time, she can't get the images off her mind. She and a friend found her 58-year-old neighbor lying in the middle of what she says looked like a massacre scene.
From the front door, to the bathroom, down the hallway, the kitchen was completely full of blood.
San Antonio police say that man was slashed with a machete during a fight with his roommate after 11 last night. They immediately put out a warrant for the arrest of 55-year-old Paul Turner. Hodges says the fight had to do with laundry.
Apparently he didn't hang it out on the line for it to dry. So the other one got mad because his clothes wasn't dry.
According to Hodges, these 2 men had been at odds for quite a while, and she says last night things reached a boiling point. A police report says the man who was cut had used a weapon himself, first hitting Turner with a broomstick. It says Turner then began swinging the machete. The other man suffered what police called life-threatening wounds, his hands taking the brunt of the blows.
He went like this, and it was just like wide open. It was about this deep.
Hodges says she saw Turner as he drove off from the home, and he told her to check on the roommate, that he had been cut. But she says she never imagined things would be as bad or as bloody as what she found. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio police and Crime Stoppers are hoping you can help them crack 2 separate robbery cases. The first one happened at a Circle K. It happened on Saturday, February 15th, in the 1800 block of South General McMullen Drive on the west side. Police say the suspect tried walking out of the store without paying for an 18-pack of beer. The store clerk confronted the suspect, but then was threatened with a weapon. The second case also happening at a Circle K on the north side. The robbery happened in the 12,000 block of Blanco Road on Monday, February 17th. Police say a man walked into the store approaching the clerk with his hand on his waistband as if he was hiding a gun. That's when the suspect demanded money from the worker before leaving the store. If you have any information that could lead to any arrests, you're being asked to call the San Antonio Police or Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP.